All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating and honestly little-known financial mechanic hidden deep within the United States gold reserves. We spend a ton of time talking about taxes, government spending, interest rates, the usual suspects. Question? Did you know the president can legally print $4 trillion without asking Congress for a single vote? Seriously, take a second and just let that sink in. We are so used to seeing months and months of political gridlock over budgets that are a tiny fraction of that size. But it turns out a legal loophole actually exists that could trigger a massive $4 trillion emergency bailout, completely bypassing Congress. No votes, no drama. Our sources investigate the history and the exact legality of this mechanism, and we're going to break down exactly how it functions. But why look at this loophole now? Well, the scale of the problem makes it incredibly relevant. We're talking about $39 trillion. According to the data we're looking at, as the US rapidly approaches its 250th anniversary in July of 2026, the government is hitting an absolute brick wall of $39 trillion in debt. They are quite literally running out of conventional runway to manage this. When your traditional options, like hiking taxes or slashing spending, become mathematically impossible or just politically dead on arrival, these alternative emergency levers come directly into focus. They start looking like a very real July 2026 bailout strategy. Which brings us to Section 1, the Fort Knox secret. The entire foundation of this proposed strategy relies on a very specific, tangible asset: 261 million. That is the exact number of ounces of physical gold currently held by the United States government. And we're not talking about abstract digital currency or theoretical numbers on a screen. We mean physical, heavy, shiny gold sitting right there in the reserves. But here's the thing, the sheer quantity of that gold, that's really only half the equation. The real magic, or I guess the real math, kicks in when we look at how the government actually values those 261 million ounces on their official books. Because this completely exposes the core loophole. Officially, right now, the US government records its gold at a mere $42 an ounce. $42. But a proposed reset value would jack that up to $15,000 per ounce. What we're looking at is a staggering, mind-boggling, unrealized gain just sitting quietly in Fort Knox. By legally revaluing those 261 million ounces from an outrageously outdated $42 all the way up to a proposed $15,000, they essentially create a massive, immediate financial shift entirely on paper. To really ground this perspective, we turn to our source material, specifically a CPA named Brian over at Hidden Tax. He puts it perfectly, stating, "I'm Brian, your CPA. At Hidden Tax, we skip the economic theater. Our gold is officially on the books for just $42, but revaluing it to $15,000 could erase $4 trillion in debt overnight." According to Brian's analysis, capitalizing on this math isn't some wild internet conspiracy theory. It's an actual proposed emergency bailout mechanism explicitly designed to sidestep political gridlock. It's all about skipping that political theater and strictly playing the numbers. All right, let's look at Section 2, the revaluation math. The math here suggests a remarkably clear three-step sequence. Step 1. The president legally and formally resets the value of the gold from $42 up to $15,000 an ounce. Step 2. Because this instantly changes the ledger and creates a massive surplus in value, the Federal Reserve simply prints the difference. Step 3. The Fed then hands that newly printed money directly over to the Treasury. Bam! Instant $4 trillion bailout. By literally just changing a number on a spreadsheet, the government buys itself crucial time, temporarily escaping the crushing weight of interest payments on that $39 trillion debt wall. It is essentially an accounting trick that translates into real-world fiat currency. Moving on to Section 3, building your financial fortress. Our sources strongly advise treating this potential reset as a massive flashing warning signal. The time to act isn't after the government changes the rules of the game, it's right now. You absolutely shouldn't wait around for the July 2026 reset to finally take action. Instead, the focus should be on building a personal financial fortress. How do you do that? By owning real assets that the government absolutely cannot print. It's all about protecting what the source calls your insurance policy portfolio. Look, the government might be able to conjure $4 trillion out of thin air by tweaking a ledger, but they literally cannot print physical, tangible assets. By acquiring real assets before any of this goes down, you make sure you keep the math in your favor no matter what kind of accounting gymnastics happen in Washington. And that really brings us to our final thought to wrap up this explainer. Think about it. How would an overnight $4 trillion monetary reset fundamentally alter your own financial future? If the rules of the monetary game can be legally flipped overnight to just erase trillions in debt, what does that mean for your personal savings, your investments, the actual purchasing power of your money? It's a massive macroeconomic shift that absolutely demands our attention. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep this math in the back of your mind, start thinking about your own financial fortress, and never stop questioning how the underlying mechanics of our economy actually work.